going on, people? Welcome to your transfer view for the day. Welcome to United View. Big up DJ, big up Owen. Thought we'd just be a little bit earlier today. You know, we could have waited for things to kind of keep coming out, but honestly, it is leak central. Someone said on Twitter something like more. I can't even remember what it was. Something to do with a plumber and leaks. Anyway, just made me laugh. And it's just one thing to another. We're looking at the fact that Jesse Lingard now is, they're basically saying that he's becoming frustrated. And Owen, I know you got some of the sort of quotes from earlier on as well with what had been said. And it's just, when are we going to get some form of reprieve? It's almost like Thursday, okay, Friday, Saturday. Hopefully it starts calming down. We start looking towards the game on Monday, because it can't carry on at this rate with what's going on. Ed Woodward's now left the club. Well, will leave, and Richard Arnold's going to take over. What are you saying, Owen? What are you saying for this afternoon's extra leaks / revelations? What's going on?
You know what it feels like with everything that's going on, like you have those, like, say you have like yesterday, those stories come out yesterday, and you go, oh, that's it, and then you go, okay, that's yesterday, then the game's coming up, so focus on the game. And it's never ending. It's never ending. It's honestly, it's like something every 15 minutes. And if it's not like negative stuff coming out the club, it's other stuff coming out of the club to try and, I guess, counterbalance the negative stuff. Whether it's, oh, okay, now we got this chief executive coming in. Oh, and by the way, we might be going after Ten Hag in the summer. So, don't worry that it's bad now. Don't worry that it's bad now, because that might be happening in the summer. But I mean, it's constant. Like you touched on it in the video you did this morning, Flex, when it's like 17 players unhappy, 17. Then you get the things about, and this was the one that really frustrated me, where it said that, and this came from Samuel Luckhurst, when he said that Manchester United players are becoming, quote, sick to death of the dwindling standards at the club, and resentment is festering among some of their underused players. And when I saw that, I went, you're sick to death of it. You're the ones that are sick to death of it. How about like the fans? Now about the people that, go to games and travel and watch on television around the world? They're sick to death of it. You can do something about it. You're the ones on the pitch. You're sick to death of the standards. How frustrating is it as a fan when you're watching on TV or you're watching in the stands going, man, if only they could do something about this. You're players. You can affect the game. You can actually, just because standards are low at the club, your own personal standards should drop as well. Oh, I guess I might as well. I'll just give up because everyone else is giving up around me. So I saw that. I was like, you're sick to death of it. And then you see these things going, as you see below me, Confrontations Brewing. That was from Samuel Luckhurst as well, that a confrontation is brewing at the club. And I spoke to you earlier, Flex, off the air, and I said, I don't mean this as to be sensationalist. I don't mean this as to, you're just reacting and going crazy and all this kind of stuff because you're online. But I can't remember a time where, we had Van Gaal, you had Mourinho, and people would go, such a toxic club at the moment, a toxic dressing room. And of course, we're not in it. But from the outside looking in, I can't recall a time where it's just this constant. So many people are unhappy. So many people are miserable. Every day it's a new leak about people being unhappy in a toxic place to be in. And from an outsider looking in, it's just like, it's never ending. It's never ending. And the moment things start turning bad, again, leaks start coming out. Because it can't be anyone else's fault. Surely not, right?
It's like
it's someone else's fault.
Exactly. It's like daily. There's more stuff coming out. DJ, how are you? We haven't really spoke to you, for a few days and stuff, like with everything going on. And then you see the stuff today. We'll get onto some more stuff about Martial with Newcastle potentially on the radar. I don't believe they'll go for him, but on the radar. Lingard becoming frustrated, and just as a little bit of a quote, actually, DJ says from Samuel Luckhurst, says some of Jesse Lingard's teammates believe he is overdue a run in the Man United team amid Jadon Sancho's struggles. Mason Greenwood's apparent greediness is also believed to have riled some teammates. When you're hearing these types of things that are coming out, what are you saying? What are you thinking?
Yeah, man, my simple message just to Manchester United players is just shut up, man. Just shut up. Like, there's always going to be a player, in regards to Mason Greenwood, there's always going to be a player that might hold on to the ball a bit too long, but that's your teammates. Like, let's keep it private. I think, over the years, going back to sort of Fergie days, over the years, certain things would pop up. We've had a few massive incidents, but they were few and far between. And most of it was kept under wraps, and you'd only really hear of it maybe another 5 or 6 years after a player's left Manchester United. And I think that's the way it should be. I think these lot are just a bunch of crybabies, man. Honestly, just a bunch of crybabies. They get paid so much. And, we're hearing reports of When Ollie was there, Ollie was the fall guy. So it's kind of like they jumped on that bandwagon. Like, yeah, training's too easy, or we're not really feeling the training sessions. Now Ralph's come in, somebody that knows what they're doing. It's the opposite. Oh, it feels oppressive here and stuff like that. Like, at the end of the day, just shut up. You get paid 100,000 a week. If you're unhappy, talk to your agent, talk to the club, do it the right way, and then leave. I think they just need to simplify it and stop just coming out and talking, because the leaks are coming from somewhere. The players are obviously, saying things to people or agents or whatever it is. I just honestly believe, Flex, that I've never seen it this bad. I think, we can go back to sort of like the Mourinho days, where it was probably the first time it ever got toxic since Fergie left. And a lot of us wanted Mourinho to go, and rightly so. He should have gone. But I think it's now, I think the players have got worse in terms of, as they say, the inmates running the asylum. Like, players shouldn't be able to dictate what's going on. And it's looking like that these players now, the more they're talking, is the more it's going to put pressure on the club, the more it's putting pressure on the PR team right now in Old Trafford, and the more it's going to put pressure on their manager, which I think is very undermining. So for me, just burn it all down. Go. Whoever wants to go, leave. And United will always live on, will always rebuild. I just think that enough's enough now. It's too much stress for us as fans, and for definitely the people that's in the business of Manchester United. So yeah, that's just my opinion.
Oh, and do you think there's anything in a lot of what we're reading? Like, in terms of, I don't mean like overall, but I mean like when you look at specific things. So, for example, this one on Jesse about, his teammates saying that, imagine a group chat, as KG would say, or, it's easy to imagine, dressing room chat. These things do happen. They're just normal people. If you work in the office and something's going on in the office, there's group chat, you're going to message in there saying, oh, look at this person, look at that, what's going on here, why is the manager? It happens at football clubs, happens at every establishment. Things like they think Jesse Lingard should be playing. Do you think that's true?
I mean, I pick my words carefully, but these are games, right? These are games. Like, the media is a complex beast, isn't it? And whenever you hear anything or see anything, I myself personally trying to have this conversation with myself, going, right, how much of this do I believe? How much of this do I see on the pitch so I can believe it? How much of it do I just think like, that's probably, again, the Lingard one's so complicated because, again, his contract's expiring at the end of the season, and we know he's going. He is not staying at Manchester United. That's just not happening. I'd be floored, right? So
you mean past the summer?
Yeah. So from a manager's perspective of Ralph Rangnick, if you think this guy's got his foot half out the door and it's a negative place right now, why would you play him? Especially when you've got so many players there. Why would you? And then if you have this conversation of, okay, you're not going to renew your contract, so what are you going to do? And it's like, I'm going to stay to the end of the season or whatever. Then you have the conversation about, okay, but are you going to be giving it your all to the end of the season? This is the problem at the moment, Flex. This is the weird, and I understand football managers, it is a bit of an interpersonal thing, and you do have to manage your players and personalities, but as a big club, like, this is like high school stuff. Like I mentioned before, what is this Mean Girls? Lindsay Lohan. Oh, I think I should be playing because they're not playing very well, and you can't sit with me on Wednesdays. We wear pink and all this kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know. I mean,
I think the players
you have to
need
wonder where the
know
message
their
is
place.
coming from. Who's telling the journalists that? Who's saying that?
Players just
Ask
need
the
to
question. Who said that?
The players just need to know their place, because at the end of the day, I think we can all recall when Rooney went into Sir Alex's office talking about, so who are you buying in the summer? And he's like, that's none of your business. Go back on the training. Like, we need a bit of order here.
But he owned it. But Rooney owned it. He came out and he owned it. They asked him, did you say that to go to manager? He went, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I had an argument with him. And at one point I wanted to leave. And you go, the thing is, when they said that, you go, well, okay, fair enough. What can you argue? Someone just goes, yeah, I said it. Because I thought it was best for the club. I thought it was best for me. This stuff, it's cloak and dagger shit is what it is. Oh, I think he should be playing. He's greedy over there. Oh, so teammates of Jesse Lingard say that he should be playing. Okay, come on.
Yeah, these issues obviously been clearly festering from obviously Ollie days, and poor Ralph. He's only just really come into the job, and I think there's a lot to undo. And what I suspect is that the players thought there was going to be a complete 180 as soon as Ralph came in. So all the players that were on the bench underused, they thought, oh yeah, we're going to get game time now. And it hasn't panned out the way that they want to. But Ralph has every right to assess his current squad, who he has, because he doesn't know these players from a hole in the wall. Well, obviously he knows them, but he doesn't know them properly. So he's going to want to have a good look at them, give people game time, and see what can comes of it. But are some of the players right to be frustrated? Of course. But I think
that's what I was going to say. I do sympathise. I sympathise with Lingard. I do, because again, he did have a great. Can't hear you, by the way, Flex. Well, I don't know if your mic's working. But I do sympathise with Lingard, because yeah, I can hear you now. Obviously, last season, he did play great at West Ham, and if he went there earlier, he'd have probably made it to the England squad. So I can understand that, and I can understand from his perspective why he would be frustrated when it comes to specifically the Solskjaer reign, in that, maybe in the summer he was a little bit undecided, and it's now you got a part to play, you're going to stay here, fine, and that didn't happen, and he feels lied to. I get it. I totally get that. But again, then take it on your initiative just to be like, okay, then fine, I'll leave. I'm out of here. Fool me once. Again, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, unfortunately, at the moment. And United have got a lot of them.
They do. Samuel Lucas also said several Man United players have been peripheral figures in United's league campaign, and the feeling at the club is Solskjaer's non-confrontational management style has left several high-profile players disenchanted. Well, of course it would. But I think back to, say, away from Jesse Lingard, I can see why there's a bunch of players in that dressing room unhappy. I can see why. Think of say Eric Bailly. Yeah, think of Eric Bailly. Only God knows why he signed that contract. Yeah, that contract extension. Because it's like, you can look at a player and say, well, you're an idiot. Why did you sign that? You wasn't playing before. This was your chance to kind of get in the competition, in the fray, to say, I'm not signing a new deal. So it would have probably got to the summer, and then you sell someone like Eric Bailly. But in his defense, and this is where we don't know, so I'm just giving both sides of the coin. In his defense, he could have had that real big, honest conversation with Ollie, who said, I'm going to give you some more game time, which probably did happen, but none of us are in the room, so I can't say definite. But if you used to ask me to bet on one or the other, I would say Eric was given reassurances. And I know some people could say, look, he's always injured, we can't rely on him anyway, so just let him go. But he would be one of the players that, obviously, we don't even need to talk about Van der Beek being, upset that he's not getting any game time. Diogo Dalot, up until recent, would have been pissed off. Even up until recent, Alex Telles probably would have been pissed off. You look at even Matic. Matic might even be looking at McTominay and Fred saying, "Flipping, I've won Premier Leagues, mate. What is this sort of thing?" He might. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, then you add Jesse Lingard into that as well. Then Mason. People are saying that. Well, some of the reports saying he's greedy and stuff like that. How do you think Mason feels? Probably wants to be a striker, not really getting a chance there. Mainstay at right wing, but a lot of pressure on him when no one else is performing. Then he gets moved about a bit. Then he's inside the squad. Then he's not in the squad. Rashford could only be really frustrated at himself because he's just not playing well. But I just definitely see mileage in a lot of these. And that's the thing. I said it this morning. Never should we just kind of lap up everything that's put in front of us, especially in media, especially in football media. It's definitely not fair to do that. It's fair to talk about things and talk about where you gauge it at. But we definitely shouldn't believe all of it. Like the 5 p.m. thing, when that came out, I was like,
exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? Things that never.
But then you see all this stuff afterwards,
or 100% true. You know what I mean?
Exactly. There's probably somewhere in between. Exactly, somewhere in between. So I'm like, well, maybe it's not the fact that they've got to change to 5 p.m., but actually it's the fact that they've got to need to work harder in training in general. Like, do you know what I mean? Maybe it's somewhere like that. So I'm just like, nah, man. It don't add up to me. It really doesn't. It doesn't, because this is consistent, daily leaks, daily problems. And you start to think, is it just the media out to get us? How much of it is the media just doing the Man United thing because it's cool to do that, and they're going to get, a lot of, interaction with that and a lot of talking points generated because it's Man United? And how much of it is true? And also, when you move on, some of the other quotes that were said today, which is actually the opposite of what we've been talking about, which is that Man United are not actually looking for much in this January window, and it's going to be a busy summer. Where are we at? where are we at? I mean, if I just find that actual quote, let me just grab it quickly so I can just give you guys a bit of context. It was it's from TalkSport, so take that as you will. It's from TalkSport, but a couple of others were saying it. We're saying Man United not planning any significant arrivals this month. United are now expecting a busy summer with central midfield a priority, which we already know. But maybe we could see no one come in January.
It's madness, isn't it?
But that's crazy.
To be fair, I feel like we hear that every transfer window, don't we? Every transfer window, we hear something like that. We hear all of these links, and again, Man United get links with every single player every single time because it's what sells, right? People like to talk about Man United. People always know United are looking for players, so that always sells. But then also on the flip side of things, like you said, then you always get that one that's like, oh, United aren't going to do any business this window, or don't expect United to do business this window, or expect United to go only after one player this window, or we'll sign one player and then that comes out and it goes, don't expect United to go after anyone or whatever. Then we'll go sign Cristiano Ronaldo. Ultimately, if United want to do business, they always can. They always can. And the thing is with United, sometimes I'm not even sure if they know what they're really looking for, they want to do in the transfer window, honestly. They get basically propositions. They might be pursuing or looking at certain players, but eventually sometimes they get propositions. Agents go and say, look, this player's available. They just happen to find out that someone might be available. And then maybe they have the discussion, like Ronaldo. Like that just happened in a couple of days. Donny van der Beek, we were never going after him. Never. And obviously, yeah, exactly. Mike's turned off again, Flex, by the way. And it was Donny van der Beek was a similar situation. Okay, it's back on now, it sounds like.
It's on now.
Yeah, but it was like Donny was another one. Like, you could never tell us we were going after, we were interested. Even Cavani, that was last minute.
Yeah.
So the idea that United aren't going to be doing any business, maybe they have said that internally, well, we'll wait till the summer. But you can't tell me that if a player became available, they wouldn't be like, oh, actually. Because that's what they do.
What do you think, DJ? You think that's a bit of a screen and we could still be looking at the central midfielder now if the right one's there, or do you think it's a summer thing?
Yeah, I think, every time United says that they're in the market or they're looking at players, prices will go up by 10, 20 million. So I think what they like to do is sort of like play the rope and open, say, nah, we're not looking at this moment in time. And then, but still maybe have some interest in players and then go last minute towards the end of the window. I do expect United to get at least one player in. Reason being because the PR right now and the media attention on Manchester United, because of all these leaks, is extremely negative. And as fans, we know that Manchester United hate negative PR. So what they're going to want to do is spin this as quick as possible, maybe put out a few distractionary things, i.e. a player coming in and they'll hype up the player. We could go for Kamara for 10 million, which is nothing to Manchester United. And they'll laud him as the next best French player, blah, blah, blah. And that will get us looking over here when they're doing something over here. So I do think they'll bring in at least 10 million for Manchester United in January. I think that's good value for money. He's a young player. So I do think we may go for someone. But I'm just wondering, and this is a little bit more deep, I'm just wondering, how is that going to work? Because we know Ralph's here for 6 months. And usually you would only go into the transfer market to build a team because you know what system you're going to play and the style of football you're going to play. So you'd buy the player for that system. If he's going in 6 months, we have no idea who's going to be the new manager. What's the strategy here? Because again, it just looks like to me, we're just going to buy a player with no strategy. And as you can see, it's led to stuff that's happening now with player unrest. So yeah.
Well, a lot of what you said just feeds into the next bit, actually. Big up Pastor Fred. Says, my sources tell me Ronaldo walked in on Lingard eating ice cream in his tighty whiteys. That's something that could happen. Big up United channel says, flex without a hat, that forehead, 100%, man. Get the forehead out. I am in the big forehead gang. My I've got 2 nans. Obviously, well, actually I've got 3, but kind of it's a weird story. But my Jamaican nan always used to say, listen, if it means you have a big forehead, it means you have a big brain, you're knowledgeable, boy. You know what I mean? So I'm saying my Scottish nan didn't say that. She disagrees me. But big up, man. So I'm saying. On you said you spoke about PR, like. And well, one thing that it's not PR, well, it's kind of PR, but they did announce that they are proud to announce that Richard Arnold is the next CEO. Ed Woodward is gone from February the 1st, and then there was a whole bunch of stuff after that. Owen, if some of these things that Henry Winter was saying, just honestly. I'll just read something about. Henry Winter was claiming that those close to Ed Woodward point out that his heart will remain at Man United, the frustration for Woodward is that he knows he leaves United having failed in the main priority, creating a structure which can ensure silverware. True. And those close to Edward would say he feels like that he has another big job left in him, preferably in sport, whether in licensing, marketing, or data, maybe marketing. He still feels addicted to Manchester United, that it would be difficult to consider a job at another club. Almost like, oh no, I've played for them. No, I won't go Chelsea. Oh no, I've played for them. I can't,
because they're desperate to have him, obviously.
But yeah, exactly. But what did you make of that? DJ talking about spin, but then there we get the announcement of Richard Arnold today. And what do you think? What do you think it means, bro? Like what?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because you got all this stuff going on, and then I don't know if that one was necessarily total PR. I have a feeling like that was always probably going to be announced today anyway. But it was just a bit like, wasn't it? You got all this stuff going on. Players are unhappy. Confrontations brewing. 17 people unhappy, and then it's like these people are sitting there miserable, angry, arguing, and someone pops in and goes, Richard Arnold's the new CEO, guys. And everyone's like, turn around, go, F off, get out of here. Read the room. Not the right time for it. With the Ed Woodward thing, look, when he says I've got another big job in sport, but then it's funny that he mentions like, or maybe marketing, business. Yeah, because that's what you're good at, not actually on the football side of things. And it's this thing of like, okay, your tenure's come to an end, and you've been there like a decade or whatever. And he's like, yeah, ultimately I failed. Yeah, you did. You did, and nothing makes up for that. And also as well, look at the state he's leaving it in. Sure, we're talking about money. Sure, you're talking about commercial side of things and sponsorships and that. But he was always good at that. He was good at that when Sir Alex was in charge. He was he helped Malcolm Glazer buy the club initially. That's why he's in with the Glazer family very well. And no one's ever questions Ed Woodward's ability, to get commercial deals done, or from a finance point of view. No one's ever questioned that. People have always questioned his ability to have success on the football pitch. When it comes to Richard Arnold, look, I know people will say he's Woodward version 2, and he might be. The time will tell when it comes to that. You do like those kind of noises where he reportedly wants to delegate a bit more to those directors of footballs and all this kind of stuff, and possibly a sporting director in Ralph Rangnick. That does seem positive, but I don't know, even someone like Richard Arnold, again, if you want to look at from, a footballing perspective on the pitch or just the club in general, he's got a massive job on his hands as well. He must be looking at that going,
huge job.
Jeez.
Well, he's got to undo all the mess. He's got to undo
exactly. And if you were Ten Hag, so it's the Ten Hag thing, wasn't it? Said so Woodward reportedly staying on to the end of the season to help, that search for the new manager, with Ten Hag possibly being a leader, was what Henry Winter said. If you were Ten Hag, right, and make no mistake, he's had offers over the last couple of years. People have been interested in him, whether it's Bayern Munich, whether it's whoever, at different points in time. Do you think, and this is just an open question here, do you think he looks at Man United now and is like, yeah, that's the place I want to be going next? Like, what do you think he would be thinking?
No, I do think
job?
I do. It's not. Eula says, do you remember, Flex? I had to ask about sabotage. It seemed to be that now. Yeah, 100%. To your question, Owen, hold on 1 second. Zafar says, United players United need players like Tomiyasu, Livramento. Quality was class, but no ego. Yeah, we do need like a fresh batch of players. Like you said, it's not about ego. When you said about is he looking at it, wanting to come in? It's a big job. I still think someone like Ten Hag, we wouldn't turn it down. I don't think you turn it down just because it's the chance to whoever can get Man United to win something major next is, they're going to go down in history, because
if they can
we're pushing 10 years. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that would always tempt people. Still Man United. It's still Man United. It's still big time. It's still big money. It's still, it's still Man United. But that's not me saying it's the Man United of old. It's they're not walking into a fully accomplished Man United, a polished Man United, a Man United that's challenging for this, that, and the other. That would be their challenge. Might not even be in the Champions League. That would be their challenge. But I do think someone like Ten Hag, wouldn't say, I don't want to go there. They ain't won the league since 2013. So nah.
Yeah.
I mean more just of what he's looking at in terms of, like I said, the sort of internal sort of chaos at the time.
Would he want to
He
work
might look
under
at
that mess?
Yeah, and also, and just you never know what other offers he might have available to him, right? If
True.
there's other
That's true.
offers available of clubs that are a bit more successful at the moment, he might be like, well, because it's a big job. But I guess then that's when it comes to Richard Arnold and this new structure in place, and even Ralph Rangnick comes into that, I suppose, of convincing Ten Hag, look, no, yes, we've had a lot of trouble with the players, we've had a lot of trouble with egos and factions and cliques inside the club, but we're working on that. We're confident in the structure corporately on the football side of things, if you will, that when you come in, you've got carte blanche to get rid of these players. We are sort of rebuilding internally, and it is a project, and you're not going to go anywhere for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That's their job. That's their job, to convince him that he's comfortable and he's got that kind of security with him.
Just quickly, Liam's right there. He said, "Where's the likes? Where's the likes?" Yeah, we got 1,000 people watching, which is brilliant for this time of day. That's wicked. But we've got like 160 likes. You don't know what to do. Hit a like if you haven't hit a like. I get it. Everyone wants to come in, have their therapy, talk about stuff. But just remember to hit the like on the way in.
New Year's resolution: always smash a like on the video.
Yeah.
That's all we ask. That's all we ask.
Exactly. Exactly. Jamal says we need a clear out like Arsenal. DJ, what are you saying about? We've had a few little bits of movement. Axel Tuanzebe's gone. Ethan Laird has gone to got a nice move at Bournemouth. But in terms of the rest of the outgoings, though, what is your generic feeling? I covered a bit on Donny this morning when basically it was talking about Ralph Rangnick's now come to the same conclusion that Ollie did, which is that he just doesn't suit the rigors of the Premier League. The Lingard situation, do you think West Ham could come in? Martial's obviously looking for a new club. Newcastle reportedly interested. He's not high on their priority list, but now he said he wants to leave. They're interested potentially. Excuse me. What's your thoughts on like who could actually leave in this window?
Yeah, I think the ones you mentioned just there, I think maybe Henderson will try and push for a move away. Even though I think he would probably be one of the ones Ralph would really want to stay, funny enough, because God forbid if something happened to De Gea, if Henderson stepped in, that's a very good replacement to have. And if De Gea, drops a bit of form, then again, Henderson is a good alternative. But I do think Martial will go. I think there's a lot in that. He's had to sit down with Ralph. I think Ralph respects that. Okay, cool, you've been here. And Ralph even said, I kind of understand.
Yeah.
He will definitely be someone that's on the move. Lingard for me should definitely be going. Donny, if I was him, I'd push for that. I'm definitely going. And obviously the Donny thing, me, I'm Donny van der Beek FC, right? But I just think it's a little bit out of order that, not even a little bit out of order. I think it's just out of order that this report's come out, Ralph has kind of seen what Ollie's seen. Maybe, but at the same time, have they seen what we've seen in the first 11 on the pitch in the midfield? It's terrible. So, and when Donny has stepped in on the limited occasions that he has, he's performed okay. And I wouldn't mind seeing him with a run of games and seeing what he could potentially be. Because for him to come into this Manchester United team and some of the performances he played was all right, and do those performances under what we would kind of assume as little to no confidence, I'd like to see a fully confident Donny van der Beek that knows he's going to get picked, for at least 4 or 5 games on the bounce and see what he can do. So he's someone, if I was him, from a personal standpoint, if I was him, I'd go. So maybe Donny, Martial, Lingard, Cavani end of the season. Pogba's a big question mark. I think if he sees everyone jumping ship, he might just jump ship too. And then that leaves kind of players such as they're saying 17 players are unhappy. We don't know to the extent of how unhappy. A player could have come out and said, the dressing room's a bit down,
So many players that is.
It's not really nice. Do you know what I mean? And that could be sort of like your Brunos, your Sancho.
No, I think it is 100%.
I'm saying
it is.
Really.
Yeah, so, I think
United have got a decision to make. It's whether they want to do a full kind of clear out, but we know that's not going to happen in one summer transfer window. So you get rid of, in my opinion, you just get rid of the guys such as your Lingards, Martials, Henderson, Donny van der Beek. You get rid of those players. Because of our defensive situation, he may have to stay a little longer than he probably wants to. They're never going to get rid of Maguire. Never. In a million years, they're not going to get rid of Maguire for now anyway. Ronaldo is up in the air with him. He might just say, you know what? I tried. I'm bouncing. But I mean, it's a tough situation. I think 4 definitely will leave, but then Mata again, that's 5. Matic maybe, depends who we bring in. So, and
Yeah,
if
if
we
you let
do,
that many go, you still need to. You
you
still
need
need to.
to replace them.
Yeah, if you let, I know people say these players aren't playing at the moment, but you still need depth.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
originally, when we started getting all these good players, thinking that our rebuild was taking shape, which seems a million miles away. By the
I
way,
know.
how stupid were we? How stupid were
I was gonna
we?
say, don't look foolish. You know, you go
Exactly.
do that sometimes. You go back and watch a video from like 6 months ago, and you're like miles off.
We never knew this was gonna
100%.
happen.
But this is why. But this is the funny thing about football, isn't it? It's like how do we know what's going to happen in 6 months? You can only talk about the feeling right now. Yes, you can give. I think we can give like a. I think this will be a good one for the future. Look at his age. Look at this. Look at his experience. And you say, yeah, But then look now. Literally, people saying clear out. It stinks. Pyramid says clear out. It stinks. Oh, where's it gone? Clear out. It stinks. Even CR7, Cavani, Mata, Jones can go. And yeah, but I just look back to the beginning of the season of the optimism I had.
Yeah.
Well, even within the summer, I went from one thing to another because of what the decisions the club made. I went from May when Ollie lost that final, and I was like, well, okay, this is done. Like this, do you know what? I spent 2 weeks angry. Then it quickly became, it quickly cemented that we were going to get Sancho. So it's like, okay, you get one through the door. Then it quickly moved on to Varane, and you're like, well, actually, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'm going to give him next year, and if you don't do nothing, then you get Ronaldo, and then you're like, do you know what? Last season's last season. If you don't show anything this season, then you're gone. But to be fair, that's actually what happened.
And he is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened, but in more catastrophic fashion than we would have liked. Not even getting to the end of it and missing out on a trophy or got Champions League, but he wasn't. Do you know what I mean? It was fast forwarded. But when I look at it, I just feel like we're just almost like back to a square one. But if you sell these players, like I said, back to my original point of who we thought were going to come on and give us depth, because when we got these players, we were like, oh, look, we've got all these players. That's going to be like even Martial coming off the bench. Look at the quality. Greenwood's going to have to be on the bench sometimes. Rashford's going to have to be on the bench. Sancho, even Bruno might have to be when Pogba's fit, or what's going on. Like, there was so much more. Donny van de Beek, wow, that means Fred can have a rest, or this, that, and the other. We just thought, wow, strength in depth all of a sudden. So if the likes of Martial, Matic, Lingard, go,
Donny.
let's just say them three, and Donny, sorry.
Yeah.
Let's say them 4, they need replacing. Not so much Mata, because he just has been out the fray for so long. And to be fair, Donny van de Beek's never actually been in it. If you think about it, if Donny leaves now, because he never comes off the bench, comes on off the bench, and if he does for like 5 minutes, 4 minutes, actually, they probably wouldn't even think they need a replacement for him now. Because he's not even...
That's the thing. That's the crazy thing with Donny, wasn't it? Like I can't remember who I saw an interview the other day, and they went, "Oh yeah, I really want to play in the World Cup this year." And I remember I went, "Crap, the World Cup's in December. Like that's not far away. That's not far away." And if he doesn't go now, and he's going in the summer, what's he got, like 5 months, if that, to try and get himself into a Netherlands squad that he's not in right now? He's running out of time.
For Donny.
He's running out of time.
Surely. Yeah,
and that's the thing. He must.
And
be
Van
like,
Gaal ain't going to take no excuses.
Exactly, exactly. And do you think really Louis Van Gaal, even if it was like say 5 months? Oh yeah, I played for this club for 5 months. He might be like, well, not enough time. Jesse Lingard wasn't enough for him to get in the England squad, and he was playing really well. He scored loads of goals, but even Gareth Southgate went, just not enough time, mate. You ran out of time. And if I was like people around on it at the moment, I'd be like, mate, World Cup's at the end of the year. You never know how many you're going to play in. Do you really want to afford to miss one? And it's a unique one as well.
Especially because Donny's not a player who like has hardly been in it, and he wants to get in it the first time. He's a seasoned, like he's in the national team.
He's part of what makes them tick, man.
100%. And all of a sudden, he's just like been out of it by so far. I just don't understand it. Just a quick one, guys, unless just in case you guys didn't know. And you guys in the community, the Man United game against Brentford has been rescheduled as well. It will now take place on Wednesday, January 19th. All right, Wednesday, January 19th, 8 p.m. kickoff GMT time. If you're watching from this country, that'll be on BT Sport as well. To add that into my diary, need to get down to Brentford. Wednesday the 19th. Add a little midweek game in there. I thought so that these games need. I mean, the Brighton one needs to come quick now because I think we're not doing anything else. We're not playing Carabao Cup semi-finals. There's no Champions League till February. So let's get it done in January, man. Let's get it done. So yeah, if you need to look out, that's Wednesday the 19th of January. That game has been rearranged for.
I have a question, by the way, Flex.
Go for it.
Yeah. We mentioned about getting rid of the players and the squad and all that. Cast your mind forward, if you will, trying to have a bit of premonition, look into the future if you can, to the first day of next season. How different do you think that Man United squad, team, how different do you reckon it looks? Because we talk about a clear out. We talk about a clear out and we talk about players going, but do you think on the first day of next season, do you think it's going to look radically different, even just personnel, not even tactics, not managers? Yeah. We're assuming there's going to be a different manager.
It will.
But do you think it's going to look completely different? I think it's going to look really different.
Really different. So you're saying from that. So you're saying first game. So you're saying August this year.
Yeah.
You're saying whenever the season's going to start. Say it's mid-August. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say Lingard, Pogba, Cavani, Martial, Mata, Donny,
Ronaldo.
You never know, man. You never know.
Do you know what?
You never
more
know.
time going on.
I wouldn't. Stranger thing.
I don't think it'll be our choice. I think it'll be his.
If we don't get Champions League, he'll just say, "Listen, it was great to come back. It's a shame we couldn't achieve what we wanted to achieve." I don't even think he'll just go MLS and chill. I think he'll go somewhere where he can do something still. I still think he want to be at the highest level. If not that, then maybe back to Portugal. Oh, imagine that. Jesus.
Could you imagine?
But there's definitely. Oh, Eric Bailly's another one. There you go, Bailly. So that's 7 players there. I've got.
You say Jones?
You add Ronaldo into that, could be 8. Jones, that's 9. Definitely going to go.
I don't even know if he goes anymore as well. Phil Jones.
That's a point. That is a point.
New contract.
No. All I'm saying is there might be so many people going.
Contract this year.
Not at the end of this year, I don't think.
He's got another year.
I think he's got another year. I think it was like 2019, wasn't it?
Jesus, yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if there's so many people going out the door that it's a case of like, well,
I think he'll survive. I actually think he may survive just because of kind of what's going on now with defense. It was nice for him to come on the other day, but I think that's giving him a bit of boost, man. If he gets picked again, I can't see him saying he literally resurrected his Manchester United career, like resurrected it, like literally from the ashes. Like he's come out from not even a.
But has he though? Because if Maguire is, so what is Jones going to play more games?
I can see it. I think Ranić liked what he saw from him. I liked what I saw. To be fair, he was stepping out.
The scenes. Maguire's on the bench because Phil Jones keeps his place.
But
Imagine
you know
the one that takes Maguire out the side.
Man,
and it wouldn't be wrong. It wouldn't be wrong.
You know what, the fans, it's got to the point with Maguire that if they see anyone drop for him, even if we drop Harry Maguire and put Scott McTominay centre half, people will be saying, well, Maguire hasn't been playing good, so he needed to fit. Like, people ain't really fussed. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying, like, hypothetically. But if it is Jones, it'd be a crazy story, like, because Maguire obviously has been flattering to see for a long time. And what Phil Jones showed in that game, even though we lost, was mobility, anticipation, and just
he stepped out a couple of times.
He's just done it. Do you know what? But let's not gas him up like he dropped it. He just done his job.
Yeah,
he just done his job. Like you defender for Man United, you're supposed to sniff danger at the front post. You're supposed to put your head on anything. You're supposed to put your head in where it hurts. And you're supposed to have a decent turn of pace and can get about a bit. Like, that's what you're meant to do. You're supposed to do that and more as a Man United centre-back. So, yeah, big up Phil Jones, to be honest. But I don't know. I think Harry Maguire just comes straight back and Phil Jones just gets banished again. Which actually, like you said, and it probably isn't even the right thing. Do you know what I mean? It isn't. No. Raz says 8 p.m. kickoff. Oof, our players won't be happy. It's too late. It's too late for them. They don't like nighttime kickoffs. And Red Baron says, who is responsible for these leaks? Did they think they would gain a strategic advantage over the manager? Won't it fuel the fire against the players? 100%, which is exactly what it's done. I don't know who wins out of all these leaks coming out. One thing is that's the generic feeling inside the dressing room, but to then start putting bits out to the press where each member of the press keep referring to it as sources say, snitches say. You may as well just say.
And you never know. In fairness, you never know. It could be friends of friends of friends. You know what I mean? It could. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Well, there you have it. That's your latest news. We'll wait to see what happens in the rest of the day. I dare say something else does. I bet you more tonight. I bet you by tonight. Late tonight. Late tonight. Owen obviously doing the transfer view tomorrow morning. We'll probably have loads to talk about, and potentially again this evening as well. We'll keep an eye on things as it happens, and obviously we'll be ready with any breaking news as and when it happens as well. So guys, big up yourselves. Thanks for coming on. And viewers, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.